It's interesting. The Emmys just happened, and they talked about a lot of the things going on in Palestine, of course, all the left-wing signaling. There was no mention of Charlie at all. Was that weird? Is that just what you expect, I guess, of Hollywood? It seems like very strange when it's something that millions of people in our country are struggling with. It's a big issue, and they don't even mention it.
I mean, I think it's unfortunate. And I think it's sad, but I don't find it shocking or weird. I mean, it's Hollywood, Listen, I have a lot of love and respect for a lot of the people that were at the Emmys and that are in my industry. But however they feel about me, I still have lots of love and lots of respect for that. So much talent that's there. But as you said, in the same way that people who were in that industry voted for Trump but can't talk about that, there are people that feel very badly for Charlie and for his family and for this country, for that matter, because of what happened. But they know, based on the programming, based on the media spin and everything, that if they were to get up on that stage and say, I just want to call out that it was really tragic what happened to Charlie Kirk, and I call us to a call to end political violence, and may we pray for each other or something like that, that person would have been lambasted.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. Because
even try to make a neutral statement just because people hate him so much.
Yeah, because in Hollywood, that's not a neutral statement.
Yeah.
In Hollywood, Charlie Kirk is an extension of Donald Trump.
Got it.
Charlie Kirk was a huge part in getting Donald Trump elected. I mean, a massive part in getting Donald Trump elected. Yeah. And getting Bobby together with Donald Trump, which is a big part of getting Donald Trump elected. So they can't extricate that from each other. They're not able to look beyond that. But what they can do, in part because they might believe it, and in part because it's a virtue signal, they can go on and they can talk about things that have been deemed acceptable to fight against in Hollywood, like Free Palestine and things like that.
Walk me through this a little bit, because, I guess Reagan was an actor in, I guess, the 50s and 60s, yep. And he was a big leader who helped fight against the communists and the unions back then. That was a really big fight in Hollywood. Gosh, I guess it was 60 years ago now. Like when was Disney pushed to the point that it started injecting all this far left stuff and a lot of the things it does? When did these institutions, like a lot of our institutions kind of got conquered, and we talk a lot about that in our society. Like, when did this happen to Hollywood? Why did it happen? Is it possible to reverse it?
Well, I mean, I'm actively trying to reverse it, but I have found that the only way to really battle that is you're not going to be able to try and turn the Titanic. Like, it's too big a boat. It's too big a boat to try and get any of these major studios to really come to their senses and recognize that somewhere along the line they've been compromised. Somewhere along the line, ideologically, something got in there that then they started to go along with. I want to believe that for the best of intentions, right? These things, Jordan Peterson talks about this. When you're trying to usurp something, when you're trying, or rather incept something, you don't just take it 100 yards. You take it 5 yards, and then you get pushed back 4. But now you still got a yard on that. And then you take it another 5 and you get pushed back 3. And then it's incremental, right? So nobody came in swinging and saying, you got to use all this woke ideology. They started with little bits of just kind of, well, what if we just did this? And what if we just did that? And some of it, I think, was in the spirit of diversity, in the spirit of equality.
Yeah, you do want to support gay people and black people and all these things that are nice.
All of it.
Yeah.
All of it. But when you start to, I think, lose the plot, and now you are, again, very small part of the populace, you are catering to this little part of the populace, still human beings, still worthy of God's love, but when you are now putting a bunch of that type of ideology into your cartoons or to your movies or whatever, you are now actually compromised, right? So, but I don't think that you can. Listen, everyone can go boycott. Plenty of people. Bud Light, right? Like, people went crazy and they boycotted Bud Light and Bud Light, Cracker Barrel. How's that one? Like, holy crap!
I got reversed right away.
They got reversed real fast. But I think that's also because even the moderates are kind of seeing a lot of this now. Even the moderates are saying, like, wait, what are we doing? Why? It's crazy. But I think that the best way to combat that is truly, and this is what I have been actively trying to do, is why I moved to Austin, to build a new type of Hollywood. So
you're building a new studio.
Yeah.
Tell us about it. What's it called?
Yeah, well, it's called Wyldwood, Wyldwood. You can go to wyldwood.com. We're actively raising money now and, finding partnerships and all that kind of stuff. But But ultimately, the long and the short of it is 25 years ago, I started working in Hollywood. I believe that God called me to do that, and it very much came true. I'm 18, 19 years old. I'm beginning to work in Hollywood. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is all happening. This is amazing. But immediately, I was confronted with the reality of what Hollywood was. It's a very, very broken system. And God created me to care about humans and excellence, like to care about other human beings and care about excellence. And that's very difficult when you're working in an environment that doesn't really, in my opinion, by and large, care about either of those things. Hollywood is not a place that values the artists or values the audience. Therefore, the excellence that we're giving to the audience.
It seems to value the top artists, but just not everyone else, huh? Or not even them, really.
But I don't know that they really value those. I mean, one could argue that maybe they do, but they're not valuing them because they actually see the value of the human being.
Yeah.
They're valuing them because they sell tickets.
Yeah, it's not the dignity of the person.
No.
It's not, they could use someone up and throw them out, basically.
Exactly. And so I was apoplectic. I was so angry and I was so heartbroken. I was like, God, why would you call me into this industry? And I really I felt God talk to me, not audibly, but as God will speak to us in our soul. And the answer was, Zach, I've called you into this because it is broken. Because there needs to be a better version of this that does value the humanity of the artists and their art, and therefore the excellence, and therefore valuing the audience because you are giving them what is, and it doesn't all have to be wholesome. It doesn't all have to be, family entertainment or kids or whatever, but may it be excellent, number one, and may it not be infected with a lot of just ideology to push us toward destinations. And might I add, I believe that across the spectrum. Like, I think there's been a lot of, let's say, Christian movies or Christian art that's horrible. It's really not good quality stuff. And it's because they were relying on the ideology of it, thinking, well, this is enough.
It was ideology first, not the art first.
Exactly. Yeah. And also, I don't mind if you have ideology that underpins it, but why do you have to be so heavy-handed about it? Yeah. You don't have to say Jesus every other word. Not every movie has to have an altar call. You can, in fact, some of the most profoundly, let's say, Christian or godly symbolic movies don't even touch that. They're movies that are bringing people in through the entertainment, and through that you are infusing really good moralities, really good lessons. That is the way we ought to be doing things. And so that's the kind of studio that I want to build. It's not going to be G-rated Christian conservative. If anything, it's a very libertarian type of a studio where people like myself and in people that would be a counterpart on the other side can work together in harmony, agreeing to disagree on wherever we might stand politically, but coming together to co-labor and co-create really excellent things. And more than that, trying to solve for lots of other brokenness in Hollywood, or not even just in Hollywood, in the world. What I'm building at Wyldwood is not just a movie studio. It's also a living community. It's hospitality. It's schools for our kids. When I was 19, I'm looking at the future. I'm looking at all of these people that I knew that were older and had kids, and they were all getting shipped off to all these different places to save the money, to save the studio's money for filming incentives and whatever it was. But when they would do that, because traditionally everything was shot in LA, so you didn't really have to leave. And then all of a sudden, all of these filming incentives start popping up, and you're having to look at your spouse and your kids and be like, hey, I love you, but I'm going to see you in 2 months because I got to go live out here now. And the amount of marriages that broke up because of that, the amount of community that gets broken up because of that. And so I think that to be able to create an environment where I can wake up, I can walk my kid to a school that, by the way, is actual education and not indoctrination. And then I can drop them off and I can walk to work. And then I can coordinate our work schedule and his school schedule so that I can meet up with him at lunch and we can throw ball and we can talk about what are you learning at school today. And then I can go back to work and he can go back to school and we can have a true community, a true ecosystem of differing opinions, differing lifestyles, but everybody agreeing on certain tenets